Okay, guys, welcome into another Sunday night Scrap Chat live with Scrap and Irish and whoever comes up on panel and whoever pops into chat. First person in is American's favorite hoarder. Let me just go to the YouTube side, make sure everything is working over there because Shark Scrapper was having issues with his live. No, I'm live over there. 4 thumbs up, 4 people in the chat. So uh, that's good. We've seen it's saying there's 4 people in the chat and it's saying we've 4 thumbs up. Now it's saying 6 people. So come on, guys, whoever you are, get them thumbs up now that you've come in. So yes, what is everyone working on? I've video coming out hopefully this week. I've done a gold drop, another gold drop, so you can get to see some gold recovery from pins and other bits of stuff that I've lying around. I finally got around to doing. Hey, Electronic Scrapper, watched your video. Nice return on that gold for 1 k. Was it 1 kg or 1 pound? I'll have to check in, but over was it 6 grams or five point or 6.1 or 5.1? It was either 6.1 or 5.1. I'll have to double check it again now in a minute. But that was a good return and really clean looking gold as well. So I've just done a gold drop there myself. I haven't weighed it yet. I'm hoping it's over 10 grams of gold, but it should be. Well, anytime I say it should be, then it doesn't be. So let's see. We'll have to wait and see once I was just out there settling at the moment, just on the drop. A video that be up on the video hopefully this week, and yeah, so that's what I've been working on. So that was like from gold plated pins, and there was some other gold flakes that I'd collected from, I don't know, was it from boards, and there was other bits and pieces of gold material. So yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what I've been working on anyhow. What about you guys in the chat? What have you been working on in the chat, guys? Let me know. Paul Frost, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope all is good with you. Um, Sorry, just checking something there. 13 people in the chat, 9 thumbs up. Come on, guys. There's a few you haven't put. Hey, Miss Canadian Scrapper. Sorry, I haven't been over to your channel in a while. I haven't been over to a lot of people's channels in a while, just busy with work and trying to do my own e-way stuff and do my own YouTubes and stuff. Nothing wrong with a 10 gram. Hope you get it. Yeah, well, I'm hoping it's at least 10. Could be more. No, because I do know. See, I threw in a 4 gram piece of gold that I had already done before refined, but I re-refined it, so I know that's in there among it. So it has to be more than 4 grams anyhow. So I'm hoping between all the thing I get to attain between the bits and pieces, we get to 10 grams. That's what I'm hoping for. Might be wrong, but that's what I'm hoping for. Hey, James P, welcome in. Good to see you. Don't forget to hit the like, guys, as you come in. Done a big plug soup with 100 plugs. I done a plug soup with, I don't know, a couple of hundred plugs, 1,000 plugs maybe, a while back. Yeah, it's a tough old job, the old plug soup, Paul, isn't it? It's a tough old job doing that plug soup. Um, you know, it's one of those things where it takes a little bit of time to get it done, but it has to be done. Hey, HH Recycling, welcome in. Shark Scrapper must be over when HH has popped his head in, and scrapping on the fly. So all those guys were over at Shark Scrapper. So welcome in, guys. Don't forget, hit the like on your way in. Adam, hope you're doing well. Hope everything is going good for you, sir. Hands are killing me. Yeah, the plug soup, the old plug soup. Well, I'll be soon hopefully melting all them brass bits that I got. I just need to pick up some gas this week, and if I pick up the gas, I'll get melting those all that brass and copper I've been building up into bars. I ordered some molds of Amazon, of course, and I ordered the wrong size. I got smaller molds than I wanted, but look at, I have 6 or 7 small molds. They'll do. We'll get melting some stuff into it. Me too, Paul. I've done nothing. Paul was working on plug soup, in case you're wondering. That's what Paul was doing. Plug soup. So a lot of copper like this just lying around in buckets and stuff like that I need to melt, essentially. Get it melted into copper bars. Like here's some more. Let me grab it. Oh, right. You can see here. Ooh, camera control funny. You can see here all this like nice big lumps of copper. copper wire that I've stripped out. I've binfuls of it, so I need to actually get and melt that into some nice copper bars. So once we get that done, we'll be okay. I'm proud of Ian. Yeah, Ian is making progress. You know what the funniest bit is? When he's finding stuff that he picked up years ago, and he's going, "Oh, I forgot about this," bring him back down memory lane. All these stuff he's finding, he's actually progressing nicely along there with the shed. So he's. Hold on, let me bring up the old shark scrapper. You got over your You've no sound, Shark, have you?
No sound.
Oh no, I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you there a minute ago. I thought you were just waving, but were you saying anything? No.
Yeah.
I was saying you got over your issue.
I tell you, God, what a mess. I don't know what. I wonder if the other stream is still going.
Let me check it actually. Let me go in here and check that for you, because I put a link to your other stream anyhow in it. No, it's gone now. Once you knocked off that, and no, actually, it's still there. It's still there, but it's not going. Like, it just goes notify me. If you go on there, you'll see there's 2 people waiting in there still for your live. I put a link to the other live in there. I don't know. Let me open it up and see. Yeah, the last comment was my comment in there, link to his live, and I just put in a link to where you were gone live instead, so that people could go over there instead. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, because when I go on mine, it still says upcoming. EV Mux just totally screwed that one up. I tell you what.
That happened before. That happened once before to you as well. I remember that happened before as well. The same thing.
It did.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. And apparently, because with EV Mux, StreamYard is similar. It's nothing. It's not operating from your PC. It's just connecting back to all of their servers and computers and stuff. And it kept saying that it was allocating resources, and then nothing ever happened. And then it finally said we were unable to allocate resources. So I'm like, well, what am I paying you for?
Yeah. So then the panic started. Oh, I have to get another one done. We were just saying there in the chat, I was saying watching some of Ian's videos there, the ones where he's finally getting to clear some of the stuff in the shed. And he's finding stuff that he's put in there for years, and he's picking stuff up and he's looking at it and going, "Oh, I remember picking this up, and I was going to do such and such a thing with this, and I was going to do," So he's at that stage now where he's getting through the stuff at last.
Yeah. And it's funny. E-Waste Ben is doing the same thing. So you got Ben and you got Ian that are finding stuff that they had stashed away forever.
Yeah, Ben was going through that box of old electronic stuff or old stuff in the box. Yeah. My shed wall. What is it? My shed is a wall of spider webs. Being so long since I've been in there. Yeah, the old spiders can take over. The old insects will take over fairly quick in the shed. So they will. If you're not in there moving stuff around constantly, they'll soon. It's like nature. If you leave anything outside, nature will take it eventually.
Speaking of nature taking over from outside.
What the? A bit of snakeskin.
1.4 meters of snakeskin.
Oh, so a snake shed its skin and decided to leave it there for you.
Yes. I found it the other day when I was out doing a little gardening.
Just so you know, there's a nice big snake hanging around near you.
Yeah, it's good. They keep down the rodents.
Welcome in, Co-Star Recycling. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
The head part didn't quite come out as clean. It's kind of all scrunchied up. So I can't really figure out what kind of snake it was, other than big.
Hey, Joseph, welcome in. There's a skin, there's a snake. Where's the snake? Very good question. Where is the snake? That's the one good thing about living in Ireland is we don't have snakes. So You know,
Yeah,
that's
because
one.
didn't you have some saint somebody or other go around and kill them all?
St. Patrick. St. Patrick banished all the snakes from Ireland. So we don't have any snakes in Ireland. So you can walk out anywhere, not worried about getting bit by a snake. That's the one good thing. Now we have some two-legged snakes, but that's different. So we have. What's scrapping? Just an eastern rat snake, king snake. Yeah. Letting you know what could happen if you keep poisoning the rodents. Yeah. Hey, scrapping on the fly, talking to each other. That's all right. Just in case
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah, so I don't. I was just saying there. I watched Electronic Scrapper's video of his gold drop. He got a nice drop, a nice amount of gold, and very clean looking gold as well. I just done a gold drop today. I was saying hopefully it's 10 grams at least. I'd be happy if it's and 10 grams or above. If it's 6 to 10, it'll be okay. If it's less than 6 grams, I'll be upset. So we'll have to wait and see when I dry it out and weigh it, what it weighs. Yeah, he said that's where he sent them. St. Patrick sent them all to Alabama and Australia. They were the two places he sent the snakes to. It's the nastiest ones to Australia. Hey, in Australia, everything tries to kill you. So it does.
Pretty
Everything.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Hey, welcome in, Richard. Good to see you. Oh, I see E-Waste Mike didn't do a video for 2 days. I'm sure his phone is off the hook. Everyone ringing him is seeing is he still alive, because if E-Waste Mike doesn't do a video every day, people presume he's just dead. So they'll start sending him text messages.
Yeah, but we're not that lucky. We're not that lucky.
Yeah.
It's going to take more than a little heat, or more than a little anything to get rid of Mike for us.
Yeah. So what have you been working on this week, Shark? You've been busy week doing pickups.
Mostly processing this week. I've got some pickups that are lining up for next week, I think, but this was a really busy processing and loading week. I took a load to the scrapyard, mostly shells, shred, but I had a whole bunch of aluminum too.
Here's an interesting question for you now. I think you might be able to answer. What's the longest distance you would drive to pick up, we'd say, a load of computers?
Say again?
What would be the longest distance you would drive to pick up a full load of computers?
Oh, an hour.
Okay. No, just wondering because this guy contacted me. He owns a computer repair store, and he told me he has loads and loads and loads of computers, and they're mine if I want to go and collect them. Now, but the problem is, I don't know how much. I told him to send me photos first. That's the first thing I want to see what he has. Because when people say I have loads of computers, it could be 10 computers, it could be 5 computers,
Yeah.
whatever. I think, but the only problem is it's a 2-hour drive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, I did a 2-hour pickup once, but it was 7 pallets of computers, and I rented a box truck. So so in that case, there was the math was a little different, and it was definitely worth the 2-hour drive for that pick. So
welcome in Everyday Solars. Everyday Solars is celebrating because the English women's team won the World Cup. So was it the World Cup or the European Cup? World Cup, I think. So congratulations to all those who support the English women's team.
To clue in exactly on what Shark is saying there, I've got an ad up on Marketplace about picking up stuff from the community. If it's local within my city, I'll do it for free, no problem. Tell me what you send me the information on where it is. I'll show up. I'll pick it up, bring it home. No issues whatsoever. If you're outside of the city, then I want you to have a certain amount for me to be able to come pick it up. And if it's not going to be that amount, then maybe kick in $5 for gas, something along that lines.
Yeah, no, because I'm waiting to see what the pictures are first. And then, if someday I'm passing that direction, then I might pop in. But I don't know, would I go 2-hour drive? Just, I don't know. It depends how much stuff there is. As Shark said, if there's a good bit of stuff, then I probably would. And it depends what it is. You might have some really good quality boards. You might have them. It might be all boards. It mightn't be actually, you might have them taken apart because it's a computer repair shop. So it might be just all boards and stuff like that. So that would be better if it was a lot of all boards. And there might be a lot of old Irish sucker sticks, maybe stuff like that. You never know. Welcome in Ron, and welcome in Ralph Morrick. I seen him popping his head in there as well. Good to see you guys. Don't forget, guys, hit that like. One guy called me with 2 computers. I told him if they are in the way, call me. Next time he called, it was 30 computers. Yeah, I suppose that's it too. This time it might be this amount, and next time it might be double the amount or whatever.
The other way that you can do it is to ask him, what size truck do I need to bring? Because if he tells you, it's going to fit in the back of your SUV, that tells you one thing. If he says you're going to need a box truck, that tells you something completely different.
Yeah, well, like I had a box truck one time. I picked up, I think it was 7 pallets of stuff from a place that was closing down, and it was all some of it was pure rubbish, and some of it was good stuff. So it was a mixture of thing. Just as intro, I watched a lot of your videos last 2 months. New to e-waste recover hobby. Just got about 300 pounds of telecom. Okay. From work cleanup before moving. I said I'd take it. Yeah, hey, look at anything like that, take it. And before you even start, if you're thinking about recovering the gold, at least you can be stripping the stuff out and preparing it. And as Shark would always say, unless you know what you're going to do with it, don't bother. Don't bother taking stuff off the boards unless you know what you're going to do with them. If you have a plan for them, take them off the board. If you don't, then what's the point of taking stuff off the board?
I've just heard, personal experience and so many comments that I've had from people where they said, I kept taking these things off, and now I don't know what to do with them. Like a lot of people like to take off, they call them the M&Ms, and then it's like, okay, but what are you going to do with them? Because then they think they're going to sell them or refine them, but then they learn that, well, they don't have as much value as they thought they were going to have. And, it kind of spirals. And then tantalum capacitors. I thought I had a plan. I thought I was going to be selling tantalum capacitors to this company down in Florida, and then they never got back to me. And so then I ended up with a whole bunch of tantalum capacitors. Now I was able to sell them to board sort, but that wasn't the original plan. Now I don't bother taking them off.
Well, my plan now for the tantalum capacitors is to recover the silver from them. I'm going to go after the silver in them. That's the plan with the tantalum capacitors I've taken off.
Sure.
And the M&Ms I take off as well. It's the silver that's in them I'll be going looking for. So that'll be the other thing I'll be looking at. It's the silver, or instead of calling them M&Ms, we'll call them their proper name. I think it's capacitors, disc capacitors. Something like that, ceramic disc capacitors. So I might I'll try and get the silver, maybe do a video and see is there much silver in them. It mightn't be even worth doing. So once I do a video, if I do a pound of them in weight and then do a video and see how much silver I get, then I'll be able to work out if it's worth the hassle or not.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
and I am fascinated by the chemistry of precious metal recovery and extraction. Extraction and recovery, refining, whatever direction you want to go in there. And I'm going to mess around with it at some point. It's one of those things where I'll probably do it. And you asked me about this last week. I'll probably do it as a fun exercise, not so much as trying to make it a profit center of the business, unless I learn enough from it that it looks like it could be a profit center. I've had so many comments from different people who have said they make a lot of money doing it. They lose a lot of money doing it. So, there's this precious metal recovery becomes an interesting balancing game. And depending upon who I talk to, they're either all in or it's, don't bother, you're going to lose money.
Well, the way I look at it is, for me, it's I don't even know, will I have lost money, made money, whatever. I know I've so much gold got. I never write down how much it cost me on the assets or that over time. Well, I know the nitric acid when I bought it was cost me 200 something euro. So like I got a really good deal. I still have some nitric acid left. It's not all gone yet because I got 70 something liters of it that time. So I know that's how much that acid cost me. I never write down how much the hydrochloric acid cost me. But the way I look at it is the gold I have now, if gold prices keep going the way they're going, I don't sell my gold. In 10 years' time, that could be 5 times the value of the gold. So even if I have only broken even now, because I'm not doing it as a job or needing the money from it, it's just a matter of I have to wait 10 years to see a really good profit from it. It's a hobby for me. It's a bit of fun, So that's the way I look.
And that makes a huge difference. It really does. If it's a hobby, then it doesn't matter. And even as a business, and I'm still chewing on the right way to look at it from a business perspective, because there is some merit to, even though it may not be a profit center right now, if that gold does go up in value in 2, 3, 5 years, you have to go through what they call discounting to see if if hanging on to it really made you any money. But it's possible. I mean, there is an argument there, even from a business sense, as long as you can still pay the bills. That's a big part of this. As a business, I still have to pay. I got a lot of bills to pay every month. So
yeah. It's like that time I bought the RAM from eBay just as an experiment to see if you bought e-waste and you paid a certain price, was you still able to make money? And in the end, I broke even whenever that was 2 years ago. But that goal that I have now from that break even is actually doubled my money. So, by holding on to the goal for 2 years, I've doubled my money. So there was a profit at the end of it. But if I had to sell it there and then, I would have just broke even. So it's for me as a hobby, it's just a matter if I break even, lose a bit on it, because I'm not selling it straight away. The chances are I'm going to get my money back down the road from it anyhow. And as you said earlier, Shark, it's a hobby that either sometimes pays for itself or make you a little bit of money, or if you do lose a bit of money, you don't lose a lot doing it. Where other hobbies, you lose a lot more money because of all the investment and you get no return. With the gold recovery, you get some bit of a return from it, I find.
Anyway. When you think of some of the hobbies that people have, golf,
But again, I don't. As I say, whatever people's hobbies are, they're other hobbies. They enjoy it. To get that bit out of it. It's not about the money for it. They get the enjoyment out of it. But it is an expensive hobby. Unless you're kind of winning tournaments and getting some prize money, you're talking fees for being a member, all the golf clubs, golf balls, traveling to the golf courses, all that stuff. And no one, as a golfer, you're not going to take that into account because it's your hobby. You don't write down, well, it cost me $20 on fuel, $20 to enter this competition, $500 on golf clubs this year. No one's going to write that down because it's their hobby. And that's the way I look at it with gold recovery. Because people go to me, well, how come you don't know how much you put into it? I go, because it's my hobby. I don't write it down. If you're a fisherman, whatever, you're not going to be writing down, oh, well, I cost me so much on fishing line, so much on fishing baits, so much on that. You just get them because you like doing it. And that's the way I look at it. Welcome I want to say hi to 6th Street Garage, Jeanette Pickering, the Patriotic One, and is there anyone else? Did I miss someone else? Jeanette Pickering, I said hi to. Yeah, so that's everyone. What are you going to say now, Shark? Sorry.
I was going to say most guys don't keep track of what their hobbies cost because they don't want their wives to find out.
Very true. Very true.
Even when your hobby doesn't really cost any money, like I don't pay for any of the stuff I bring in. My wife was complaining about it anyway until recently when I put an i7 chip up on eBay and sold it for $90. And she's like, "Oh, you're making money with this?"
And I laugh when I've been around so many golfers in my lifetime, and I hear them all the time making comments such as, "My God, I've never spent so much money to be so miserable before in my life." And I'm like, you come to work every Monday and complain about your golfing all weekend. Why do you keep doing it?
Welcome in, Gil Skills. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. There we go. This is what Jeanette does. Like, if anyone doesn't isn't familiar, Jeanette Pickering does a cookery. Well, she does it live every night. So she's on YouTube 7 nights a week. So, but she does a live where she does bacon, and she does all that sort of stuff. So again, she's saying her baking hobby is expensive to all the pans and stuff like that. She's saying, but she does. That's her hobby. She likes cooking and stuff like that. Again, she's not going to really take into account what it costs her. And again, the good thing with her stuff is you get to eat all the food afterwards, so it doesn't go to waste. I'm a gold buyer. That's very impressive. Here we go. I'm a gold buyer. I sold them. I have a gold buyer that's very impressed with the gold I sold them. I'm working a deal to refine low carat stuff for them. Yeah, there you go. That's good. So you'll take a percentage, I presume that's the way you're going to work it. You'll take a percentage of the gold. It's called Hope, Shark. Oh, I see that HH Recycling may be going into the movies, just in case you're wondering, guys. If anyone hasn't noticed, there's going to be a movie made in where HH Recycling is, and he's put his name down to be an extra. So we may see HH Recycling on some movie some stage.
I had a friend whose wife would do that, just as something to have fun with, and she was in a few movies as an extra, but she ended up getting sick as a dog because she was in some war movie or something like that, and they had all the extras out in a field waiting, and it started raining, and she said, "Oh, it's just freaking miserable." She said, and then they had to cancel the shoot, so she spent the whole day there getting sick and miserable and wet, and then they canceled the shoot. I think she said like they paid him $50 or something like that,
I was in an American blockbuster movie as well. There we go. Now.
Oh, and what was that?
Oh, starring Mel Gibson. As a star.
Were you really?
Yes, Braveheart.
Were you really?
Yeah. The Irish Army were used. Well, we were the reserves. Were used as extras in it.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so we were we were housed in one of the army barracks while I was filming on set, because they used the fields around the army barracks for some of the battle scenes, and they used some of the castles in Ireland as some of the castles for the thing. So we were on that for, I think was it 3 weeks we done filming, and like that you'd be out in the field maybe for 3 hours waiting for. It was very boring, I found. It was a lot of waiting involved in movies that you wouldn't see. You could be 3 hours just lying in a field, as you were saying, just waiting for the lighting to be correct, because the lighting had to be a certain way and it had to be this, and then they'd go, right, let's go, and next thing you do, and next thing they go, they'd be watching it back and they'd go, no, redo it. Someone was wearing a watch.
Yeah.
So it was a good experience to see like a big blockbuster movie being made, and the stunts, where the horses are getting impaled and the bucks are falling off the horses, the stuntmen and everything like that. And one Irish lad that was there, he was just an extra, and during breaks or whatever, he'd be messing about and he'd be diving on the ground, he'd be doing these somersaults and everything, and the guys that were doing the stunts came over chatting to him, and he's working in Hollywood now as a stuntman.
Very cool.
So, yeah,
fascinating.
The stunt guys saw him, and they saw the way he could land and the way he could roll his body, and they said they took him and they hired him, and he's a stuntman now in Hollywood. So there you go. Right, back to what we're talking about here. I have
Back to scrap. We didn't
I-
realize you were quite so famous, though, Irish. I'm
Yes,
you know, yeah.
and I may have stole some props from the movie. Oh no, I didn't take anything from the movie. Wambach was trying to get one of the swords out. He put it down inside his trouser, and he was walking with a very straight leg. And they go, "Bend your knee," and he couldn't bend his knee. Said, "Take it out." He had the sword. Hey, red light, welcome in. Welcome in. Loafer, welcome in. I was going to read something there. What did Patrick Williams say? I have 4,000 pounds of fishing gear in my loft and don't fish, but one day I will fish. No, it's worth 3,000 pounds out fishing win-win. Yeah, so he's a fishing rod is worth 3,000 euros. Come on, Patrick, you're not in England. 3,000 euros.
I used to mess around with gardening, and I still like gardening. But I remember one time saying to Mrs. Shark after we had a salad that I had grown everything that was in the salad, and I said, "This is going to be the most expensive salad you will ever eat in your entire life."
Yeah, people say grow your own food; it'll be cheaper than buying it in thing. I've tried that, and it costs a lot more than buying it in the supermarket.
Yeah, I mean, unless you know what you're doing and you've got a little bit of space so that you can stagger things and have different crops and stuff like that. Yeah, the home garden doesn't really do a lot for you.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of work to it too. There's a lot of making sure the weeds are taken out and making sure you're getting rid of the insects that are going to eat it as it's growing up, making sure there's no slugs, picking them out before they eat all your lettuce and stuff like that. A lot of work to it. I just go to the supermarket, pick up a head of lettuce, and that's it. Done and dusted. Too hot and humid to garden, yeah, is right. But yeah, so as I said, that's what I was doing this weekend. I got more little moles, and again, because I ordered all these moles at the same time, they're all small moles I got. So I have about 10 small moles for pouring my copper into now. So I'll probably get working on that next week. I must pick up some gas to do it. Shark will be planting some IDE circuit boards, plans to grow.
If only we could figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah. I have an I'm describing. It's a good place to store overflow. Okay.
Although I did see 999 Dusan. We got to see his garden. He's got quite a garden there.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know, unfortunately, he has to give up his refining. He can't do any more refining in Serbia. They've changed the laws over there. I think they're. Give me a second. I just want to plug in my plug something in here. Got to do. Sorry about that. In Serbia, they're changing the laws and making it more strict for people to be doing it. And I think it's because they eventually they're not part of Europe at the moment or the EU, and they want to join the EU. And I think to be part of the EU, they have to have their environmental level to a certain level to join the EU. So in order to have to really start cracking down on everyone that's doing anything that isn't that isn't regulated over there, because their environmental stuff wouldn't be as good as the other countries in Europe, so they have to try and play catch up. So that means they're making sure there's no one in their back garden doing any scrap business. Or it's not just the recycling thing, it's not just the gold recovery, it's the scrapping as well. They're cutting down on that. That you can't be taking a washing machine apart out your back garden anymore. Everything has to go to recycling centers and all that sort of stuff. Hey, welcome in, Scrap Daddy Shenanigans. Good to see you. Welcome in. Thanks for popping in. Nice to have you in. As I did in my electric furnace to try and find out why it keep tripping my breakers, and I broke the thermocouple in half. Lovely, Ralph Mark. So you have to go online now and buy a thermocouple. So you will, or a new furnace, whichever.
Yeah, Ralph might be going down that road of broke the thermocouple, get a new thermocouple. Broke this, got to get this. Broke this, might as well just buy a new heater. Although Ralph has experience as a repairman, so it's a little bit different situation.
He should be able to get a thermocoupler fairly handy. But I did see Ralph Scorpion Metals. He just took one completely apart that was broken, so he may have some parts. You might ask him, can he send them? Scorpion Irish, glad to see you here, brother. Yeah, welcome in. Unfortunately, Richard, that's the way it's gone in Serbia. So I think his new videos, what he's going to be doing on his channel, I think it's going to be more shown around Serbia and stuff like that, and what he's doing in his garden and all that sort of stuff. So if people, it'd be nice to see what Serbia is like as a country as well. Go on.
He can be a little bit difficult to follow sometimes. I was trying to understand if the licensing fees and registration fees, first of all, I couldn't figure out, I wasn't sure what that currency was. I didn't think it was euros.
No, it's not.
And I was, I didn't do the conversion to try to understand how much money he's really talking about. But if he could even get those licenses and certificates, how much that was going to cost him to do that. I feel bad for the guy. It was like he really, you could tell he enjoyed doing what he was doing.
Yes, it was a hobby. It was a hobby he enjoyed sharing it. And again, now he's not able to do that anymore, So, which is, again, if you enjoy doing something, you can't do it anymore. It's kind of, what do I do now, or whatever, So, hopefully things might change, or the laws might change slightly or whatever. But just at the moment, they are cracking down. I was reading a few articles there on Serbia about it, so we'll see. It cost me a whopping 87 cents plus free shipping. Where'd you order it from, Ralph? Temu? Was it Temu?
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking, because I know that there's a lot of countries in Eastern Europe that have massive toxic lakes and things of that nature, not from home refiners, obviously, but from the major mining companies that were not regulated at all during the communist, the Cold War era. Yeah, Romania is right next to Serbia, and I know that there's a lake that I've seen that's completely infiltrated with sludge from a copper mine, and the water is blue and acidic, and it's completely covered a village that was there, and all you can see sticking out of the lake is the top of the steeple from the church.
Okay, well, Romania would be part of Europe anyhow, so their laws would be kind of changed a lot in the last while anyhow, So
and I get conflicted with here in the U.S. Where we have national laws, state laws, local laws, and oversight on environmental things, and people can get very frustrated with how long it takes to get a EPA clearance to build something, do the have the environmental protection studies completed, and then they can get very frustrated when the city comes in and says, yeah, but you failed your perk test. People get very frustrated with that. But on the other hand, do we want our neighborhoods and our towns and our forests and stuff to become like those overly polluted lakes and rivers that we see, in certain places in Europe and Asia? So it's there's a balance that needs to be struck, and we have to keep working on that balance, I think.
Yeah, well, see, again, home refiners as well. As a home refiner, we all have our own duty to make sure we're not the idiot that's pouring it down the drain, or we're not the idiot that's just dumping our waste products wherever we feel like it, because that will cause a crackdown. If guys that are doing this, or even the guys that are doing the scrap metal, if you're doing scrap metal and you're just throwing bits of rubber tires off cars or bits of stuff that's no good to you, and you just decide to dump it anywhere, as long as you get your bit of aluminium out of it, you don't care what happens to the other stuff afterwards. Then of course you're going to cause the law in your areas to get changed to stop you doing it. Where if you're the guy that has a nice clean yard, and if there's a guy driving by, he doesn't see a load of tires and bits of cars hanging out the back and whatever, and it looks like it's a well-kept area, then the chances are you're not going to get hassled. But if you're the guy that has every sort of junk piled up wherever he feels like it, of course you're going to get hassled, and probably deserved. You know.
We also have, and Shark will attest to this, there's a large contingent of people in the U.S. here who are against regulations for corporations, but those regulations are put in place for a reason, and it's to keep everybody safe, keep everybody relatively happy, things of that nature. So, it's like you said, it's a balancing act. You regulate them enough to keep everything safe, but you don't want to regulate them so much that they can't operate as a profitable business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's spot on. That's the challenge, to find that balance.
Yeah, that I actually, Scrap Daddy, I'm going to be doing a video soon on that, because I have a couple of big containers filled with acids, and it's time to start getting them down and getting the copper, getting any precious metal still in them first, and getting the copper out, and then bringing them to the crowd that takes because here in Ireland you can bring them and pay a charge to dispose of them. All you have to do is tell them what was in it. So you just say, look, there's hydrochloric acid and nitric acid in that, and possibly copper and possibly whatever, and then they'll say, okay, the charge for that is, they'll weigh it and they'll say the charge for that is whatever, and to dispose of it, and it's into a proper disposal place. So that you're right on that. But I remember seeing people on videos and them just pouring the waste liquid out down the drain, or just onto the soil outside, and you're here like, where do you think this is going to go? It's going to go back into the water system. So if you don't have a proper treatment center where you're living, you're going to be drinking that back out of your well water or something like that. So if you live out in, some people live out in the middle now, especially in America, you live out in the middle of nowhere. So some people think, yeah, I'll just pour that down here. Sure, it makes no difference. There's no one living out here, only me. Sure, that's going to go back down into your drinking water. So when you're getting your water from your well and you're drinking that, you're just drinking lead, copper, aluminium, whatever it is in the water, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, and I've heard, I've heard a couple of people who have said things like, "Oh, well, I neutralize the stuff so the pH is neutral before I dump it out in the back field."
Yeah, but it's the metals.
Okay, but what about the lead? And what about the stuff that you didn't get out of there before?
Yeah, what about the cadmium and the aluminium and all these other metals that are in there that you didn't get out of it? It's grand. It's pH. It's pH balanced. It won't eat your skin away, but you still haven't got rid of all the heavy metals that's in there.
I do have a little bit of a bone to pick about the lead. Everybody worries about putting into the soil. Have you ever thought about how much lead is in the soil at a shooting range?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And all the rain coming down and washing it into the soil. All they need to do is let a few guys in with metal detectors, and let them keep the lead that they collect out of it for themselves. They'll soon clean it up.
Well, and it's funny because we had a couple of military ranges that became an issue, and you know, it's one of these things where the environmental group comes in and they go after a military shooting range. Why? Because the military has enough money that we can pay to clean up the shooting range.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But they didn't go after some of the private shooting ranges. Why? Because some of the local politicians are investors in the local shooting ranges. You know, so it's like, you're right. There's a lot of lead in some of those ranges, and it should get cleaned up.
Yeah, that's a big issue you have in America. Anywhere that if you go into a hardware store and you're buying all these sort of chemicals, and anyone sees you buying all these chemicals for the gold recovery, they think that guy's making meth, you know. So they report you over there, because that's a big thing. The guys making their own homemade meth and stuff like that. Watching too much Breaking Bad.
I actually did end up living a couple houses down from a meth house back when I was younger. And I, you know, it was a residential neighborhood, and I saw these chemicals, and it's, you know, it's like the van would pull up at weird hours of the day and the night. They'd be unloading stuff. And I mean, it just did not look right at all. And so I reported it to the San Diego police, and a week or so goes by, and I get a phone call, and it's the San Diego police. And they said, you and your wife need to go shopping for the next 3 hours. And it would be really good if you left in the next 10 minutes. And yeah, they busted that place, and they wanted to get as many people out of there as they could in case things went south.
I imagine just for the possible explosion too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to make meth. That'd actually be a profit-making area here.
Yeah. Scrap on the fly there. Not just that, not about the lead, but sure, most countries, the water coming to the houses ran through lead pipes originally. So your water coming to the houses in the 60s and the 50s into most houses was lead pipes that was used. So I know here in Ireland, in Dublin city especially, the company over the water in Ireland, it's an ongoing. Every year they're changing out so much pipework of the old lead pipes and putting in the new stuff. Even now, up to 2025, there's still places that are running on lead pipes, bringing water to their houses. You know, to the old buildings.
That's true here in the States as well. Some of the older cities still have lead pipes in areas, and whenever a house is having renovations, that's when they go
Swap
and make them replace pipes.
Yeah,
that was a real big deal here after Hurricane Helene, because our water system was shut down for weeks, and normally the water is treated with a material that keeps the lead coated so that the lead isn't getting in your water. But because the water system was shut down for so long, when they started pushing water through all those pipes, well, in addition to just having a bunch of nasty crap in your pipes built up, they had to go around and test, and they found elevated levels of lead because those chemicals that they had been putting in the system to keep the lead down wasn't there anymore, and it took a while to get things back up where it needed to be. And so they've got a big effort going on around here to replace lead piping in older schools and those kind of places to try to get a handle on that. Yeah, that's going to be a long-term project.
Adam, I think we had this discussion a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, about brass, copper, steel, aluminium, and silver, and why should silver be considered a precious metal, and over the rest of them? Because again, silver would have more industrial uses than precious uses. Personally, I think. But again, I don't know how did we end up? What did we come up with on the end of that? Why is silver considered more value than any of the other ones? Did we have a reason in the end? Did anyone come up with any conclusion?
Well, there isn't as much silver available for recovery as there is copper and iron ore and aluminum. I mean, aluminum is the most abundant metal that we're going to find. It's just a little bit difficult to get it refined. So part of it is the amount of silver that's available to recover. And a lot of it has historical value from, back in the day when it was really hard to get it. So, but even today, copper, iron, aluminum, they're easier to find. And gold and silver are usually byproducts of refining copper, especially copper. You get a lot of silver and gold when you're not a lot, but a lot of the gold and silver that we get is from mines where they're mining copper and other metals.
He's saying about the value, actually, about like, so you mean why is it so low compared to gold and platinum metals? That's what he's saying. Oh, I don't know that. I don't know why silver hasn't rose as high as, because usually, as we talked about this as well before, about the gold to silver ratio and how it used to always be a certain number nearly every year, but now it's kind of that gap has really widened between gold and silver. The ratio has gone way out compared to what it used to be. And I don't know why that is, that silver hasn't rose at the same rate as gold, but gold is a safe haven, I suppose, for people to invest in times of turbulence, and people invest in gold. And for the last, since well before COVID, we've had year after year after year of something, whether it's been wars, whether it's been COVID itself, we have tariffs, we have wars again. So all this stuff will push people to invest in gold. And then, because gold is, as we were saying there, if you're ever fleeing, have to leave some country, if you have gold with you, it's easier to get that bit of gold. Because Shark was even talking about, if you have a gold chain, for instance, it's easier to get that gold chain with you than bring a load of money, a big pile of cash with you, for instance. So maybe that's why, I'm not sure. I make more money. Well, again, you're always going to have more copper than silver for a start. So you're always going to find it's a lot easier to find copper as a recycler. You're going to find copper in everything, nearly. So that might be, you won't find silver in everything. You'll find a small amount of silver, but you'll find a lot more copper.
So let's see. Platinum right now is $1,470 an ounce.
How much
what
is
did we say? Gold?
How much is platinum?
Pardon me?
How much is platinum?
Platinum, $1,470 an ounce.
Okay.
Now, if I'm remembering correctly, the term precious metal really refers to the noble metals, which don't tarnish in the normal atmosphere very much.
Yeah.
You can get silver to tarnish, but you need a high sulfur component in the air for it to tarnish.
Honest opinion from you all. When scrapping for profit, should we do gold recovery or sell our electronic boards? Personally, I think you should sell your electronic boards. You're going to make the money quicker. You don't have the expense of the assets. You don't have the time it's going to take. You don't have the cleanup afterwards to deal with. So if I had an option to sell my boards for good money, I'd be selling my boards. I wouldn't be refining the gold. I'd probably refine a little bit, just more for YouTube than actually for myself. But if I was living in America and I was doing this, I'd probably be selling most of my boards to companies like BoardSort or some refiners or whatever. Because you're eliminating all that hassle, and you get your money, and then you can just buy some gold if you want gold. Just go out and buy gold with that money and sit on it, and it'll increase in value anyhow for you. That's my opinion. Shark, what's your opinion?
Well, I would say that obviously from my business, my opinion is sell the boards. There is certainly a fascination with being able to recover gold. And there are some folks that have gotten good at it, and they can do it cost effectively and efficiently. But there's a spin up time involved in that. There's a cost involved in learning it. There's a safety factor in learning it. So if you want to start making money quickly, then just collect the boards and sell the boards to board sort or your local buyer, as you can. And then as you have time to set a little money aside and you can learn more about how to recover the precious metals, then you can decide if you want to go down that road. And that's kind of the path that I've been on. But from a business perspective, I bring it in, I sell the boards, and I move on. Because I've also got so much material that's showing up every week, every other week, that I have to keep it moving or I'm going to run out of space.
Mike, what's your opinion?
I agree with Shark for the most part. The only thing I'll add to what Shark is saying is I really think it's a matter of scale. If you're looking at, a couple computers a week or a couple computers a month, you're not going to have enough material to really make it worth it in the long run. If you're bringing in a lot of material like Shark does, and you have the facilities dedicated to being able to refine it, then maybe you're talking about an actual economic advantage there.
Yeah. As J.R. Cat said there, box it up, ship it out. So, it all depends. And as electronic scrappers, certain things are easier to get gold from. So, like ram sticks, for instance, trimming off the ram sticks, that's very easy to get the gold recovery from them. We're getting the gold from the microchips getting the gold from like little chips, like I have one here, like getting the gold from these chips and stuff like that. It's a bit more effort and stuff to it. So, it all depends what you're going to go after. If you just want to get gold quickly yourself, to get a little piece of gold, ram sticks very easy to do. But then it's after that it's up to yourself. Thank you. I mean, it was very nice to recovery off the computer boards and computer chips. Come with copper out of wire. I'm wrapping it in. Okay. Get it out and reroom. Renewables took the I do gold recovery because I love it. Yeah, again, if you like doing it, do it if that's what you're doing. But if his question was for profit, the quickest way for profit is sell the boards. I think it's where you're going to make your money quickly. But again, that's up to every individual person themselves. You could decide, right, I'm going to sell boards and I'm going to keep ram sticks and recover the gold from the ram sticks, and I'm going to sell the boards, or I'm going to recover the gold from CPUs. So like gold pin CPUs like that. You might decide, right, I'm going to keep all the CPUs, I'm going to recover gold from CPUs, the older CPUs, and I'm going to ship out my boards. At the end of the day, it's whatever suits yourself.
The other thing that I would add to that, and Scrap Daddy, this is really important for folks that are new in the game, and that is to look at the prices that your local yard will pay. Look at what you can make selling it to online groups like boardsort.com and do the math, because you'll see a lot of videos where people will say, oh, this is what you should do, because the math works for them where they're located. You need to understand how the math works for you. It's easy to get caught up in, somebody made this much money doing it a certain way, but then you find out afterwards that your yard is paying different prices. And that happens a lot here in the US.
Yeah. And again, Gil made a good point there. Not just that side of the money side of it, it's the health side of it. You're dealing with acids and chemicals and you're mixing them. And if you, as he said, if you make a mistake or do something wrong, it could be a life-changing mistake for you. If you're, so again, that's a very good point that Gil's made there. There's no point in my own, so your life was, yeah, exactly. So that's a good point too, as well. Another point to remember.
Now, I'll add in also that I mentioned earlier, I had a Pentium i7 chip coming in a computer. I looked at board sort. I could send it to them for their test and sell area for $30 if it tested as working. I threw it up on eBay just because I was listing some other stuff. Listed it at $90 after doing a little bit of research on eBay for what they were selling for. I had 6 offers within 24 hours, and somebody bought it. Buy it now. So $90 for a chip that I might have recovered 10 cents worth of gold out of.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So, and again, you could put that $90 into gold if you wanted to now, and sit on that gold, and in 2 years' time, that $90 worth of gold might be worth $210 worth of gold. You just don't know how gold is going to go, or it might be worth $50 worth of gold. It all depends what the gold prices go like, Copper at 180 and what do you mean copper's at 180? In your yard, you're getting 180 for number one copper, a pound.
Well, he didn't say what kind of copper.
Well, I hope it's not number one at that price. And he's getting 10 cents a pound for electronic boards. Well, that's where you need to look at the likes of Board Sort and collect them up and maybe ship them out. Do like what Shark does, get enough together. If you're getting enough stuff together, 280. Is that for number one copper? Still seems a bit low. So it does. Still seems a bit low. But again, as Shark said, every scrapyard is different prices, depending on how far they are from refiners, how far they are from ports, stuff like that. That all comes into it, because if they have to ship their stuff further to the refineries and stuff like that, they're going to have to pay less for the item.
Well, it's also got to do with, Shark's mentioned this before, the contract that they've signed with that refinery.
Yeah.
Because they aren't, when they sign a contract, they're not talking, okay, send us what you've got. It's, okay, you're going to supply us with 10 tons at this price.
Yes. And the quality. This price, this periodicity, this price, and this quality, and they pay fines or they get hit financially if they don't meet all those metrics.
Yeah. Welcome in, Adam. Good to see you.
So Scrap Daddy is in Amarillo, Texas. And we've heard from some other folks interesting challenges in the scrap market down in Texas.
Texas, yeah. And what about that company that opened up? Did that company open up in Texas? That one, was it Texas? They were building that plant to do the boards that you were seeing?
They're still under construction.
In Texas.
So Scrap Daddy, there's a company that's building a new plant down in Texas for recycling material. And at some point when they're up and operating, they will give me permission to reveal more information. So as soon as I can, I'll get more information out to everybody, because that might be an option for you. But they also haven't decided if they're going to buy directly from consumers or if they're going to stay in a, only buy from businesses or scrapyards. So we don't know how that's going to play out yet.
Yeah. Amarillo. I went through Amarillo. I drove through Amarillo once. I didn't see a Scrap Daddy anywhere.
I've been to Amarillo a couple times.
We drove through it. We were coming up from Texas, heading for Chicago, so we came up through Amarillo.
And if I'm remembering correctly, Shark, that company is out of either New Zealand or Australia. Is their first?
So the original founders were from New Zealand. Their pilot plant is in Australia. But I don't know if any of the original founders are even still with the company now. I think they may have been bought out by investors already. I'm not certain on that one, so don't quote me on that.
What did you think of that article I sent you the last day, Shark Scrapper? The one on the gold recovery with the new method for getting it.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I mean, it's funny because I don't know how many times I hear from people. Look, people have been getting gold and silver, using burning and acid forever, and that's the way it's going to be. And then we learn about these, new methods that are coming out as people say, well, wait a minute. just because we've always done it that way doesn't mean we always have to keep doing it that way. Maybe there's something else we can do. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that progresses, because I looked up that chemical, and that chemical that they're using, you can buy it. You can actually buy it in it's used in swimming pool cleaning as well. So same as muriatic acid is used in swimming pool cleaning. So it must be sort of the same way that muriatic acid works, but they say, you know, that the hydrochloric, but it doesn't need it works a different way of getting the gold out, and then after that you do whatever with it. But I'd be interested to see how that progresses. You know?
yeah, and of course, you know, you just like with Mint Innovation, that's the company in Texas. They tell you that they're doing things based on a biochemical process, but they never reveal what that biochemical process really is.
They tell you what this company said. This is one of the stuff we're going to be using, but they don't say what else they're using with it. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Welcome in.
Shark, there's a video on YouTube where they actually tour the facility and everything. And I think they talk about they found bacteria in the mines that were consuming the precious metals. And that's what their technique is based off of is you know, building that to scale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's their basis. But as you can imagine, there's a tremendous amount of what they're not talking about behind that biochemical process that was based on the fungi and bacteria that they discovered. So now they're very interesting people. I had a chance to meet them and talk with them, well, online anyway, and they really are fascinating people. What is going to be interesting to me is to watch how this morphs as they get taken over by U.S. business interests, as opposed to really cool, nerdy scientist projects. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
But yeah, they've let the basic knowledge out. They just, if you want to try and figure out what they did, you got to do all the work that they've done in the process as well.
Yeah, and get a PhD in fungus and bacteria.
You should have it ready by what, next week, right?
Yeah, there you go. Oh man!
I put the name of that acid in there that they're saying. Here's a question. I have everything I need to melt copper into ingots. Is it better, or should I sell it as is? If you're selling to a scrapyard, sell it as is, because they're not going to probably buy them off you once you melt them into bars. If they're not familiar with you and they don't know you really well, Adam. The other choice you have is if you go onto websites like Etsy and even eBay, you will see there that people are selling copper bars for $20 to $30 a pound. So a lot better price up on them sites, but there's no guarantee you're going to sell your bars when you put them up there. You may sell them, you may not sell them, but there is people selling them for that price. So, but if you're planning on bringing them to the scrapyard, just bring them as it is, your copper. Don't melt it. That's because I don't think most scrapyards won't touch it once it's melted into bars.
Yeah, and Adam, that's because it's very easy for thieves and criminals to create something that looks like a copper bar, but isn't. It may have a veneer of copper on top of other material that's worthless. So the scrapyards are very, very sensitive about it. And if they do buy it from you, they may not offer you as good a price as you would otherwise think, because they're taking a risk buying those copper bars. Now, once they get to know you, I mean, if you develop a relationship with a yard, then you might have an opportunity. And as Bob pointed, or Gil Skills just pointed out, sometimes the artist community or the crafting community might be interested in buying that kind of material, because you can make bars that are closer to sizes that they can use to remelt and turn into projects of their own. So that's a good point, Bob.
Yeah, well, that's where I think most of the ones that are selling on Etsy are being sold to other people who are making like copper bracelets, copper rings from it then. So they might buy a pound in weight of copper bar, and they might pay $20 for it, we'd say. And then they might be able to make 100 rings from that pound of copper, and they'll sell them rings at $10 each, and they've made $1,000. So they don't mind paying a bit higher price for it because they're going to make more on the back end. So that's why them places will do that. Welcome in, by the way, Ian Matthews. Nice to see you popping in. Ian goes, have the time changed? No, Ian, you just are so busy in your shed cleaning and doing all that work that you've missed tonight.
I did notice one thing, Irish. You posted the name of that chemical.
Yeah,
it's a cyanide-based chemical.
Yes, it's a cyanide-based one, but it's what they're saying is on their. Well, I have the actual article there. I'll put the link to the article for anyone that wants to read the whole article on it. Let me go over here. Copy. I think I have the whole link copied there. So if anyone wants to go and read the whole article on that, that should be the link to it there. That's gone in there now. So
the other, I mean, so you've got some cool things that you can do with. You can make the copper bars. That sometimes folks like to buy these just because they're pretty, or like we said, the artists might want to buy them. You can also make cool copper coins and rounds. Some of you may recognize that. Oops, let's turn it like that. And then you can also do other little projects. I don't know how many of you remember when E-Waste Ben was making his copper Australias, but those can be fun projects that if you're going to make a copper bar, make a copper Australia or state or shark tooth. So there's so many cool things you can do, and of course you can also do the brass. So I'm looking forward to getting into some of these melting projects because it would be a lot of fun, and it's a way to actually value add to the scrap metal that you have.
Yeah, as Ralph Morris said, pirate coins. Anyhow, I've ever asked people what they've planned for the week. So, Shark Scrapper, what's the plan for your week?
I'm still working with a couple of new clients to set up some visits so I can see what they have and see if there's an opportunity to work with them. I've got a lot of processing that has to get done, and a couple of pickups and recording and such. So it's just another busy week of all the stuff that goes on all the time.
Okay. Mike, what's your plan for the week?
I've done quite a few pickups in the last 2 weeks, so I've got a lot of material to break down and process. That's where I'm focused on right now.
Okay, and are you doing any melting or just collecting stuff at the moment, or what are you actually doing? Is it just collecting stuff at the moment?
Right now, it's all about processing what I've collected because I have no room. So
okay,
I've got to get space where I can work again and make it where I can have time to get out and melt. Although our weather, we've had rain every other day for like the last 3 weeks, so it's not really conducive to getting out and doing a melt because you don't want to do that in the rain.
Yeah, no, definitely don't want to be melting stuff. Pouring hot molten metal into a mold that may have some moisture in the bottom of it. Definitely not the best thing to do.
No, I may also try to see if I can find out if this guy's still hanging around.
Yeah, see if you can find the owner of that. See if you've find the owner of that jacket that was left there.
That's a weird piece of copper there, Shark.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if it's a copper head.
Possible.
Anyhow, I should have a video out this week. I've done a gold drop. I've done some gold recovery, so that should be out this week. Should be live next Sunday again. Everything going good. So if you haven't already hit the like, guys, please do. Appreciate it. Well, I'm going to put the link in now for Everyday Solars. Let me do that. Let me go and get that. Oh, where's Everyday Solars? There it is. Let me get the link for that. She's just started there now. And you can all pop over to Everyday Solars and say hi. Don't forget to hit the like before you go. Appreciate everyone that's been in. And we'll catch you all on next week's live. Thanks, guys.